Hi, Carmen.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
Good, thank you.
Good, good. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm feeling okay. Happy to be here.
Okay, good. I'm happy to hear that you're happy to be here. That's a good way to start. Have you ever been to therapy before, Carmen?
No.
Okay. Okay. Have you ever had any sessions with like a school social worker or anything like that?
So yes, it's the school social worker occasionally, like once a month. But
Okay.
I do also speak to the guidance counselor occasionally too, just for school courses
Yeah.
and, scheduling.
Sure. And when you talk to the school social worker or the counselor, are you going to see them and asking for support, or what does that look like?
Sometimes, yes. I went in the first time asking for support, just, you know, on my own. And then once we got into a little bit of a routine, I'll either be called down to the office or the social worker will come get me from the class and pull me out.
Awesome. Awesome. And the reason that I asked that is I just wanted to gauge your understanding of what therapy might look like. So some of the things that you talk about with your school social worker, feel free to bring them up here if that's what you're comfortable doing, but it is going to be kind of similar. I want to get to know you. I want to understand what some of those stressors that you have going on in your life are, and then see how we can work best together.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? Of course, yeah. I want to talk about confidentiality. Has that ever been talked to you in regards to, mental health professionals and what you share?
Yeah, the guidance counselor had told me that what I wanted to talk about was more confidential.
Yeah.
So she was the one who told me to go to the social worker that
Hmm.
first time. So she used that word, and I
Hmm.
think it just means that what I say doesn't go anywhere else other than just between you and I.
Yeah. So thank you for bringing up that up, and your definition is really, really close. So, what confidentiality means is what you and I talk about here in our session stays between us. But if you bring up anything that's concerning in regards to safety, your safety or someone else's safety, then I would have to follow the procedures that I was taught, right? And get some more information out of you to figure out what the next steps would be to keep you and or that other person safe.
Okay.
Okay. And also as a minor, I'm with the understanding that you're 15 or 16?
Yes. Yep,
16?
15.
Okay. Okay. So you're coming into, young adulthood. So I'm sure there's a lot of things that you want to keep between us. So, that's the point of therapy is for you to have somebody that you can tell these deep or more surface level, both, right? Feelings and thoughts too, for me to support you.
Hmm.
Okay?
Thank you. Yep.
Yeah, of course. Awesome. So this session today, I really just want to focus on getting to know you. Are you comfortable sharing whatever you'd like to about yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
Um, so I come from a bilingual family. So I my primary language is Spanish, but I speak English.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I live with my mother, my father, and my younger brother.
Mm-hmm.
He is 9, 8 or 9, 9, I think. Um, and we also live with my grandparents. It's my father's parents.
Okay.
Um, that's my household. It's very small.
Mm-hmm.
So we are kind of cramped
Mm-hmm.
here and there. But I go to school. I'm thinking about eventually, studying to take my permit test, and I'll be going into 11th grade in the fall. Um, I like to play tennis, but I'm not very good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's something that I like and enjoy. My goal as an adult, when I eventually, do some sort of schooling, is to be a nurse.
Oh, wow. So you brought up a few really awesome things that you have going on in your life. It sounds like you feel really connected to your family members in the home and that you have a lot of emphasis on culture in the home.
Hmm.
Yeah, That's really awesome. I think being able to understand where we came from and even, your ability and frequency of speaking Spanish with your family, that's really, really amazing. Really
Yeah.
amazing.
It's
Um,
it's definitely nice, having both
yeah.
as almost like an escape sometimes.
Sure. Yeah, no, that makes total sense to me. It does. So your connection to family, your supports with them, identifying and being excited about your cultural heritage. You also brought up a few goals. You brought up a goal of wanting to be a nurse. You brought up a goal of, looking forward going into the 11th grade next year, and then also exercise. So enjoying tennis, even though you might feel like you're not too good at it. Sometimes it's just something that we enjoy and we don't have to go into it with the intention of being good or bad at it. It's just something
Mhm.
that we're being present and enjoying in the moment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. It's nice. I like to play,
yeah.
I want to get better.
How long have you been playing tennis?
Only 1 year.
Okay, are you playing for the school team?
Yes.
Cool, cool. Any other sports that you've done?
No, that was really it. It was just, I figured, you know what, I'm gonna try. Haven't done sports ever. My
Sure.
mom had said that she put me in, I think, soccer when I was in like pre-K, but
Mhm.
I don't, I wouldn't say I played that.
Sure. So, would you say that exercise or tennis in general is a hobby of yours?
Yes, lately, definitely.
Very cool, very cool. And who do you usually play tennis with?
So I'm finding that aside from playing through the school,
Hmm.
that I go back to the school after in the evenings and I'll play by myself with the wall and I'll do like a wall ball
Hmm.
session. And I have one really close friend on the team. Um, and we sometimes play together, but it's hard with our schedules to connect.
Sure. So you mentioned one close friend on the team. Is that a friend that you also see at school during the day?
Yes, I see her during the day, but she is 1 year older than me.
Mm.
So we don't have classes together at all. It's
Mhm.
really just in passing.
Sure.
But I like to hang out with her, so I would hope that I could do that.
Yeah, it sounds like you're putting energy into maintaining a friendship, even though there's some minor barriers, not being in the same grade and,
Hmm.
having some schedule conflicts there. But it sounds like you care for her. So definitely putting energy into a friendship that sounds like it's also positive for you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
great. And how about other friendships?
I'm really close with my younger brother.
Hmm.
I often help him with his homework,
Mm.
even though there is that age gap. It just, I always have felt like a little bit maternal to him
Mm.
is how my mom described it,
Mm.
is I have that maternal instinct, I think is the proper term.
Yeah,
Um, so I like helping him, taking care of him, getting him ready for bed, making his lunch, helping with homework. And eventually, when I can drive, if I get that opportunity, I'm gonna, drive him to his activities and, you know, we're just brother and sister, but 9 or so years apart.
sure, sure. It sounds like to me you absolutely have kind of adopted some of that motherly instinct, but maybe that just comes from you being kind of just a nurturing person, right? Caring
Mm,
for other people's feelings, wanting to help them, showing compassion to them, empathy, things like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think so. And to your point of culture, I think, that has to do with it also.
that's a great connection. Absolutely. I think so too. Do you find that other women in your family are, present similarly to you?
I think so. My grandma is still, taking on that motherly role to my dad.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's never going to end. Um, but he doesn't seem to care, and she seems to enjoy it. So I guess that motherly instinct might not ever go away, even as a grandma.
Right, right. It might not. Some of those are just truly ingrained in our character, you know?
Yeah, we'll see. I'm assuming that I'll continue to feel that way. with my brother. He's my only sibling,
Mm-hmm.
so he's the closest one. So I'm hopeful for that.
Yeah. Siblings are really special because they're kind of like a built-in best friend, you know? You might have days where you fight a lot and you're not getting along. You storm out or he storms out from the dinner table, whatever the situations may be. But
Hmm.
then later you're on the couch watching a movie together. Or the
Right.
next day, when you're able to drive, you're still driving him to see his friends. You know,
Hmm.
it's a really special bond, and I could tell that he and your other family members are people that you really care for.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Im- Excuse me, it's important to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I could tell that family is important to you. Yeah. What else would you say is important to you besides family?
I really like school. Um, I do want to be a nurse,
Hmm.
but it's hard. I'm not really good at science or math.
Hmm.
And I heard that you need a lot of that knowledge
Mm.
to be a successful nurse. Um, Other than that, I don't really know.
Sure.
I kind of feel a little challenged about what else I really care about because I
Mm.
feel like right now I'm just a student and like a second mom to my brother. So I
Okay.
don't really know what else makes me me.
Okay. Is that something that you want to work on here in therapy?
Yeah, I think definitely.
Sure, sure. That's absolutely attainable. I think that's a really good goal to have, especially with you, like I kind of said in the beginning, you're starting to get older, you're growing up into young adulthood.
Hmm.
So to be able to identify who you want to be and what steps you can take, whether that's a daily step, a monthly goal, something in general that you want to
Right.
create as part of yourself learning that in therapy is a perfect place.
Hmm. Yeah,
Great.
I think that sounds like a good plan.
Good. Yeah, I'm happy. And I'm really appreciative of how open you are about your feelings, and also being able to identify what it is in your life that you feel is going right now.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it seems like you're pretty insightful. You're able to identify your thoughts, your feelings, what you have going on. And then, another goal of therapy for anybody really is to be able to take that next step of sometimes connecting behaviors to how it's presenting physically with you or what your thought patterns look like.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good. I think I'd maybe like coming here.
I like to hear that. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, that's a really big statement to say. So I'm happy to hear that, especially given this is our first session. I really want you to continue to hold on to how you're feeling right now, and bring it back to our next session. Unfortunately, right now we're just about reaching our time for the day. But I definitely am welcoming you back and I'm very excited to see you next week. But if there's anything that goes on, Carmen, where you feel like you would want to come in before our next session, or you're just having a really hard day and you need to speak to somebody, feel free to reach out to my office. Do you have a cell phone?
Yes.
Okay, great. So let's have you put in our office number to your phone and you can call them and let them know that you're looking to, speak to me and I will get back to you as soon as I can.
Okay.
But if everything's good, we are absolutely set up on the schedule for next week.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
You're
Yes.
welcome. Yeah, and this was a really great first positive meeting. I really like the ability that you brought here to be open to the session and your engagement, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it too.
Of course, I'll see you next week, and I'm looking forward to working with you.
Thank you. See you
You're welcome.
then.
Take care.